So in this tutorial I'm going to show you how to crochet the Tiara lace. So this is a combination of chain stitches and trebles which create these little sort of crown tiara effects with a little bit of the mesh in between to really make these stand out. So let's have a look at the tutorial. Hello, my name's Karen Stangram and welcome to Conquer Crochet, the channel for tips, tricks and techniques for conquering your crochet. Everything I talk about in today's video will be linked in the descriptions below. And if you're new here, please consider subscribing and hitting the notification bell so you don't miss a single stitch. So if you're keen to get going with this video, give me a thumbs up and let's do this. So for this tutorial I'm going to be using a double knit yarn. I think this is a colour crafter from Sheepies. I'm going to be using a 4.5mm crochet hook. Ordinarily I'd use a 4mm with a double knit, but I just want a slightly lacier, drapier yarn. The larger the crochet hook, the more drape you're going to get within your fabric. Also, the larger the crochet hook, the more yarn you're going to use, so you might want to bear that in mind when you're planning out your projects. I'm also going to need a pair of scissors to cut off my end, and I have a needle for sewing in my ends. So we're going to start off by making a foundation chain, so we need to make a slip knot. You can do this in whichever way you prefer. And our foundation chain needs to be made in multiples of 12. So for this sample piece I'm going to do 36. You can do as many as you like. If you'd like to follow along with the same sample as me, then make 36, but if you want to make something bigger as you're watching the video, make sure you're working in multiples of 12. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Okay, so that's my first multiple. So pause the video now whilst you create the rest of your foundation chain. Okay, so I've done my 36 chains for my sample chain. There are no extra turning chains, so it's just the multiple of 12. So we're going to do a double crochet, and that's UK terminology. In US that would be single crochet. So I'm going to do a double crochet in the second chain from the hook. So we don't count the one on the hook. So we've got 1, 2. I'm going to insert my hook, yarn over, pull through. I have 2 loops on my hook, yarn over, pull through 2 loops. So in this row we're going to be creating some chains that we can work our tiaras into. So we're going to chain 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then we're going to miss or skip 3 chains. So 1, 2, 3, and in the 4th chain we're going to do a double crochet. And essentially we're going to repeat that all the way down the row. So chain 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, skip 3, 1, 2, 3, and do a double crochet in the 4th chain. And what you'll notice is you get these sort of ellipsis shapes that we can then work our tiaras into. So chain 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, going to skip 3, and we're going to do our double crochet into the 4th one. So continue this way all the way down your row, and I will see you at the end of the row. So I've come up to the last 2 chains, and we do something slightly different here. So instead of doing the 5 chain, we're going to chain 2. So 1 and 2, and then in the very last chain, so we're going to skip a chain, and in the last chain we're going to do a treble stitch. And that gives a sort of half of an ellipsis, if you like. So we have whole ones and then a sort of half one at the end. So for row 2 then, and row 2, this is the wrong side, row 2 is going to be the right side of our work. So we're going to chain 1, and our chain 1 does not count as a stitch, so we're going to be working into the top of that treble there. And we're going to go into the top of that treble with a double crochet, and we're going to skip this 2 chain space that we've just created, and in the first sort of ellipsis, in the first 5 chain space that we have here, we're going to make 7 trebles. Remember, that's UK terminology, so if you're in the US, that would be 7 doubles. So 7 trebles. So that would be 1 treble, 2 trebles, 3 trebles, 4 trebles, 5 trebles, 6 trebles, and 7 trebles. So we've made our first tiara there. In the next 5 chain space, we're going to do a double crochet. We're then going to chain 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and we're going to do a double crochet in the next 5 chain space. So we sort of had this little connecting pattern in the middle of trellis, and then the tiaras are going to be either side. We're then going to work in the next 5 chain space with 7 trebles. So, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. In the next chain space, we're going to do a double crochet around that chain. We're going to chain 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and we're going to double crochet in the next 5 chain space. So continue this all the way down your row, and I will meet you at the end. Okay, so I've done my last tiara. I'm going to double crochet into the 5 chain space to finish that pattern off. And then going to chain 2, 1, 2, and we're going to be working into the last double crochet here. So we have our chains there, but there's this double crochet at the end as well. We're going to be working into that double crochet with a double treble. So yarn over, insert into that double crochet, yarn over and pull through. You should have 4 loops on your hook. Yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, and you get a nice sort of diamond at the end there. So that is row 2, and this is the right side of our work. So for row 3 then, we're going to chain 1 and turn our work. The chain 1 does not count, so we're going to be working into the top of this treble here, and we're going in with a double crochet. We're then going to chain 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We're then going to be looking at our tiara here, and we have 7 trebles for our tiara, and we're going to do a double crochet in the top of the second one. Now be careful you don't count this chain here, and that you are counting the tiaras, so the trebles in the tiara, sorry. So we've got 1 there, 2, so we're going to do a double crochet in the top of the second one, and we're going to chain 5 again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Still working on that same tiara. We're going to find the 6th treble, so that was 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and we're going to do a double crochet into the 6th treble of the tiara. So we made a loop over the top, and that's what we're going to do our tiara in for the next round. we're going to chain 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and we're going to double crochet in the center of that 5 chain from the previous row, and we'll chain 5 again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Going over to our tiara, find the second treble, double crochet into the top of that treble. Chain 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, double crochet into the top of the 6th treble. Chain 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, double crochet in that 5 chain space. So we're going to do that all the way down our row. So pause the video now whilst you complete that, and I will show you what you need to do when you get to the end of the row. So I've come to the end of my repeated pattern, and I've done my double crochet in the 6th treble from the tiara, and the end of row 3 finishes the same as the end of row 2. So you're going to chain 2, 1, 2, and you're going to make a double treble into the double crochet from the last row. So yarn over, insert into that double crochet, yarn over, pull through. You should have 4 loops on your hook, yarn over through 2, yarn over through 2, yarn over through 2. And there you have your chain row ready for doing your next tiara row, which is the row 2 repeat. So when we do that, we chain 1, we turn our work. Remember, throughout the chain 1 doesn't count, so we're going to do a double crochet into that very first gap, into that first stitch, and then we're going to miss the 2 chain space, and we're working into this 5 chain gap with our tiara stitch of 7 trebles. 1, 2, 3, and 4, 5, 6, and 7. Going to double crochet into the next chain space. Going to chain 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, double crochet in the next chain space, and then start our tiaras all over again. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. I know I'm rushing this row a little bit, but you can go back and have a look at how to do row 2 in more detail. So you can see you've got your tiaras here, and then you've got your lovely sort of lacy trellis in between. So I'm just going to work up a few more rows so you can see how the pattern looks as it grows, and I will see you in a moment. So I've worked up a few more rows for you to see how it looks. It's a really lovely drapey lacy fabric that you get. Will look slightly different on the back, obviously, because it is a 2-row repeated pattern and not a 1-row repeated pattern. But I really love the way the tiaras look. Sorry, it's gone out of focus there. The way the tiaras look here, and how the whole pattern sort of progresses with that lovely little trellis in between, just to give you that light, airy feel. Perfect for shawls and maybe even lightweight blankets if you just want something very light to throw over you if you're sitting outside in the garden of a summer's evening or a spring evening. So that's how to do tiara lace. I really hope you found today's tutorial useful. If there are any information that you need to find out about this video, have a look in the descriptions below, where I post all the links to any freebies and other videos I think you might find useful. Don't forget, if you have enjoyed this video, to give me a thumbs up below. Don't forget also to subscribe and hit the notification bell if you've enjoyed it and you'd like to see more of my tutorial videos. There are 2 other videos on screen to help you on your crochet journey, and I will see you over there. Thank you so much for joining me on this one, and happy hooking!